2000, and what its argument, the changes within the school and the wider economic changes have changed the construct, have changed the girls construct femininity, have changed the way girls construct femininity, no longer see it mainly in terms of home, no longer see it mainly in terms of home, in terms of home. Now what does it mean? He's talking about two different perspectives. Number one, within changes within the school, number one, within the changes within the school, and the other one, wider economic changes. So I will not explain more. Within school changes mean, within school changes mean they are talking about the feminization concept, the feminization of the schooling, that how the school process is supporting the women's feminization or feminization of schooling. And the other one, they are talking about economic perspective, that how economy has changed the identity of the woman. And second argument is changes economic, let's say, time. And this argument comes into the new rights perspective. Okay, this argument comes into new right perspective. Somebody asks you to give the new right perspective on the gender attainment, you can mention that particular things regarding the male and female roles. And now we discuss in the AS that how their roles have been changed, how their identities have been changed due to the changes of the economic situation, or you can say the decline of the manufacturing sector or the rise of the service sector. And that rise of the service sector, you can say, provide more opportunities of the employment to the girls. And what ultimately happened, the employment rate of the girls goes up, while the unemployment rate among the males also goes up. So what ultimately happened on that occasion, once that scenario have been changed, means the organization giving more opportunities, as we discussed in the crispy argument, when organization providing more and more opportunities, that opportunity or that change basically change the whole socialization process. Now families are in the position to encourage their daughters or the girls to go for a very good job, while in the previously they were encouraging them to do some domestic work at home. But now the families are encouraging the girls to get a very good education and to be a financial independent. And why this is happening? Because of the rise of the service sector. The rise of the service sectors, you can say, this has changed the overall family socialization pattern. Now families are in the favor of the girls to get a good job, and they are more focused on the girls' education. And once the girls are getting more opportunities, they become more career oriented or the career progressive. They know that they are getting more opportunity at the workplace, so what they want, progression in their career, therefore they are performing well, or obviously they have to change, and they have a priority of the they have a career as their priorities. So that's why they are doing well, or you can say they are doing more hard work in the education system. So they are doing more in the education system, and that's why they are more better attainer than boys, more better attainer than boys. Argument about gendered differential achievement have main 3 points. Number one, just to conclude this topic, number one, male underachievement results from the feminization of school. Male underachievement, reason, feminization of school, feminization of schooling. Number second argument we discussed, teaching and testing system favor female ways. Teaching and testing system favor female ways, favor female ways of thinking and working. And the last argument that we can conclude it over here, that male underachievement results from the school failure. Male underachievement results from school failure to develop ways to engage boys, effectively. And effectively. Feminization, we all know that the way they teach, it favors the girls. Feminization of the school and the male underachievement, because schools are not even able to engage the boys effectively. So these were basic, if I talk about the summary of that gender and education attainment. You might say an opposite argument, or if you are not in the favor, so you can argue with that particular argument. An argument was that female attain better at education but not at workplace. They are female attain better at school but not at workplace. So where actually this concept, you can say, where this concept basically starts from, this idea starts from the gendered curriculum. Okay, this idea comes from gendered curriculum. And what is gendered curriculum? Mean females have different subjects and male have different subjects. Normally females, you will see they will select medical, like nursing, such kind of a subjects, while male will select engineering kind of a subjects. Okay, so on that basis we said there is a gendered curriculum. So we have a different combination selected by female and the male. On that basis we said this become a gendered curriculum. And where gendered curriculum start, it starts from gender socialization. It starts from gender socialization. What does gender socialization mean? Gender socialization mean treating both gender differently. Treating both gender differently. Now, just starts from here. When you treat both of the gender differently, you treat with the girls differently and boys with the differently, what ultimately happened when they will enter into the school, obviously because of the different treatment, their selection of subject will also be different. When they choose the different subjects, obviously their status will also different at the workplace. Now we have an assumption that girls normally choose easy subjects and boys choose tough subjects. So that's why they perform well at education and they don't perform well, but they perform well at the organization level. So why this segregation happened? As I mentioned, segregation at workplace. What does segregation mean? We already have a discussion on it, that we have a different status for both male and female. Different status for both male and female. So we divide the segregation into two parts. Number one, we have horizontal segregation. What kind of segregation we have? Horizontal segregation. What does horizontal segregation mean? Important departments are dominated by the male, while less important departments are dominated by the female. Important department dominated by male and less dominated by the female. If we talk about the vertical segregation, vertical segregation mean upper position are dominated by male, are dominated by male, while lower dominated by female. Now what does it mean and why is such things happening in the organization level? Why this aggregation starts from? This aggregation starts from gendered curriculum. Mean boys are getting, from the one perspective, they are getting a, they choose a tough subject. That's why they have more topper position. Like for example, you normally see a CEO of the company will be a male while his assistant will be a female. So that's why we mentioned that upper position are always dominated by the male and lower position are always dominated by the female. And this segregation starts from gendered curriculum. And gendered curriculum, where it start from gender socialization. And gender socialization normally happened in the family, because family treat both the gender differently. And because of this different treatment, although females are performing well in the education system but not at the workplace.